Well, still at the range, but I hate doing long format videos, so I figured I'd break it up. Yep, just got done sighting in the 308 and double checking that, and that kind of turned into maybe maybe I have Tourette's and ADD. I don't know. Don't care. Whatever. I enjoy guns. Fuck off. Anyways, so um yeah, haven't really put the 300 blackout with the suppressor on paper since I got it. And I figured, while we're down here, throw that in the car. I was gonna say garbage ammo. I don't want to say that. I think anybody that's putting ammo out there and trying right now, kudos to you. So what I am using, where did I put it? Hold on for just a second. So I'm using Ammo Inc. Whoop, there we go. Not so close. Give me my room. Using Ammo Inc. Stealth Subsonic. Burns clean, burns quiet. 300 TMC blackout, 220 grain, 1016 feet per second, 20 rounds. I don't know what barrel of. I'm assuming it was probably a 10 or 12 inch. This is obviously a 16. Many of you already know Ammo Inc. does have a Palmetto State Armory. They do make or are owned by the same group and do make ammo for them. I have had issues with Ammo Inc. way back in the day. Didn't do any videos on it. It was like whatever before I really started doing any videos. And it was like, it was inexpensive, large quantity bulk ammo, so I didn't really worried about it. It is what it is. Had a case rupture in a 9mm, 115 grain. Yeah, was what it was. And then I did a few videos where I tried their 5.56 ammo. I was impressed. It was fairly consistent. And then obviously there's been a lot of videos out lately that were not so favorable with some of their 5.56 223 ammo, claiming some different things, which is unfortunate with consistencies and suppliers of, yeah. And I'll be honest, I kind of swore it off, seeing as how in the Poverty Pony, that was the only expensive piece I bought was the barrel. Well, in technically Palmetto State's bolt carrier group, I got their, whatever it is. It was fairly, it wasn't super expensive, but it was one of the more expensive pieces. I didn't want to see it, banana peeled. So I just, for a little while, stayed away from it. I have some of their stuff that I knew worked and had stockpiles of stuff that I'd already shot and knew worked, and it still works great. Having said that, so far the 300 blackout, which if somebody from Palmetto sees this or Ammo Inc. sees this and there's a correction or there's something I want to add to it, by all means, please, duet or, tag it or jump in or somebody else wants to add, something in the whatever, don't care. This will be, on YouTube and it'll be on Rumble. So there's the two places to go. So far, the Ammo Inc. for being relatively inexpensive in any subsonic for 300 blackout, depending on where you buy it, isn't cheap. It has been functioning perfectly. I've seen no issues with the cases. It has been relatively accurate, which has been impressive. But it's FMJ. It's been fun to test out and play with the suppressor, which is why I got it. I need to do some more research. I'm half tempted to take this gun with me. So in Michigan, you have to. There's a cutoff. You can use straight wall cartridges up to 1.16 inches, I believe it is. I'd have to go back and look. So basically, pistol cartridges or something like that. You can use carbines and shotguns under a certain latitude in Lower Michigan. Above that, you can use rifles. So anything bottleneck, whatnot. So I usually take the 308 because I can. And, when I start going north, which everywhere's north for someone, I asked Dad if I could use the 308, and yeah, that's kind of when it ended up at my house for the most part. It's still Dad's gun. But I started using that and then noticed that, it was a lot of woods hunting and this and that. And I did take a shot one year with it that was like 165 yards. Gun did a great job. It was awesome. I'll be honest. I was lucky I seen the deer. It was perfect timing. It was holy crap. Now the buck I got up there, that was like 75 yards away. Yeah. No, seen him coming. It's like, oh, all right. Not a big deal. I don't want to say not a big deal. That was a good buck for me. That was a good buck for, that area of Michigan. So yeah, I'm kind of proud of it. But it wasn't the distant shooting that a lot of people, want to get all excited about. So the 300 blackout is kind of interesting to me because if I can come up with a round, because to me the 300 blackout has always been kind of a 30-30 equivalent, and for the AR platform. I don't necessarily like lever guns. I think they look just awesome. They're fucking cool. I mean, come on. Who doesn't, when you got first BB gun, it was probably a lever, actuated Daisy or something like that. I mean, that was just what was cool. But they are exceedingly expensive. Not all of them are mechanically difficult. The Brownings, I had a buddy that wanted me to look at his and tear it apart, and I'm like, no, you need to send that back to Browning. Hell no. There's other ones I've actually went through and cleaned and tore apart and put back together, and they're relatively simple. Some of the early Marlins and stuff like that. So, anywho, never been a huge fan. Having said that, now that, people talk me into the whole AR thing, and I started shooting Steel Challenge a couple years ago and seeing the versatility of it, it's like, okay, all right, kind of makes sense. And now I can just change uppers and go from my 5.56, which again is not as accurate as a bolt action, which we were supposed to do some videos on this year, but unfortunately, my buddy's got a lot of stuff going on, and I ended up having a lot more going on than I anticipated. We didn't get to do. Maybe we'll get a chance to do that at some point. I'd like to. We wanted to do, videos where we're comparing cartridges, a subset like 223 or 5.56 or 308 or whatnot through multiple different platforms, and going, this is the best of the best. He has quite the armory, And I have access to a number of different things and going, this is the best of the best. And between us, we have some pretty good glass. So we'll set everything up equal, and either of us have anything to gain from it. Going, okay, equal ammo, equal guns, equal distance, equal day. All right, well, try and be as scientific as we can. Here's what they'll do. We're not going to zero them. We're not going to worry about putting 1 billion rounds through them. But just group for group, competent person, and try and take as much of that out as we can. So, lead sleds and everything else we can. Same round. Good ammo, bad ammo, whatever the case may be. Do some research. What does this twist rate prefer, etc., etc., all that fun stuff. Anyway, all right, I'm getting off on a tangent here. We didn't get to do that. So with the 300 blackout, I'm thinking that if I can find a round that works, I might take it with me deer hunting, because it's legal to hunt with a suppressor in Michigan this year, or has been for a few years. And as much as I love that 308, and I have absolute faith in it, and I know that if I put the crosshairs on something and I do my job, that animal will meet its end humanely and be dinner, but it would be nice that after that I could hear somebody for a day or two. That'd be awesome. That'd be super cool. That'd be convenient. Yeah. And not, you can't, in my case, where I hunt and how we hunt, it's advantageous for me not to have ears in, so I can hear branches and limbs and leaves and things going on in the woods and know what's going on around me, because that's part of, I blind hunt, obviously, and I listen for those things in the wood. Deer aren't silent. Sorry, they're not. They're quiet. They're wary, but they're animals. They still, just like us, do dumb shit. So they do make noise, and your ears will tell you, look in this direction. So, I try not to. And then once you see them making that extra motion to put in ears or put on headphones, you don't want to take that chance. So you inevitably end up, concentrating on making a good, clean, ethical shot, and you forget to put in your ears. And you're in a blind. And I know a lot of guys that have brakes on their guns, so it's even that much worse. It's so bad. So yeah, you walk around, and deaf for a while, and probably did damage that you're never going to get back. So, I mean, there's some pluses for me for it. So, and even with a supersonic round, these are still surprisingly at the point of the firearm much safer for hearing protection anyways. And I've done a couple of videos you guys have seen, and that's at the point of impact, because I don't have all fancy equipment to do, the pressure at the ear, and yeah. And the thing, and I could have a whole video about decibels, and yeah, I've done way too much learning on that stuff, and there's people out there way smarter than me. I do know this: the ear, 3 decibels is perceived twice by the brain. So if you can drop, you know, a decibel, think about that, 3 decibels is twice in the brain. So if you can drop the decibel of something, 3 decibels on something, that's twice as quiet in your brain, right? I used to sell air compressors. That's how I know that. So if we could provide an air compressor that was 3 decibels quieter, it sounded half as loud to the person that had to work on it or be around it. Didn't necessarily mean it was hearing safe. It just meant perceived it was half as loud. I mean, we always recommended that you still wear hearing protection around it, depending on the size and decibel output and all that fun stuff. But perceived what your brain, your ears could process to your brain, perceived was half just by dropping it 3 decibels. So think about that when you see some of these decibel reductions. Oh, it's only a 30 decibel reduction. It's like, to me, that means a lot. You know, to me, that's like, oh my gosh. But at the flip side of that, when people like, oh my God, nobody's going to hear it. They can just shoot people and they won't hear it. No. Hopefully in the last videos that I did, when you seen the microphone and the target and we were shooting, it's like, no, you could still hear it. It's like when you're sitting in the woods and you're hunting. If you're out there squirrel hunting and somebody's using a 22, you hear a shot. It's like 22s aren't loud. You can still hear there was a gunshot, right? If somebody had a shotgun, even though it was maybe, you know, not a heavy load, maybe it was a 410, maybe they were 400 yards away, you still know there was a gunshot. I mean, if you're in a arena and, you know, something's going on and somebody pops a balloon, which is why I used the balloon. When that balloon pops, everybody turns their head. Your brain automatically knows, pop, and you turn your head. Your ears, your brain know to look. That's why animals, when there's noise, their ears turn and focus in and look for those things. So anyways, yeah, sorry, getting off on a tangent there. But we're going to throw the 300 down and shoot the target out here. And yeah, even with this budgetary ammo, it was still shooting pretty good. And we're just shooting subsonics today. I do have the can on. The can has not changed the point of impact for any firearm that I've put it on yet. I haven't, and maybe I'll get that out and we'll get the chronograph out and we'll see if it's changed the actual feet per second at all on anything. Because pray tell, I've heard that on some rounds and ammunition, it can increase, some decrease. I don't know. It's all bullshit until you try it yourself, right? So, no, this is just subsonics. We're just going to take a few rounds. I'm pretty much sure I got it sighted in. My range is, like I've explained, 87 yards-ish, depending on where you sit on the deck. But we're out the range. We know it's 100 yards. I'll talk to you guys as we're shooting, but, you know, thanks. Glad you guys tuned in. Don't like it? Don't. Not a big deal. Appreciate you watching. All right, so yeah, we got our silhouette out there, that is not ours. These were left behind by another wonderful member of the club. And there was still obviously space left on the target. Luckily, I'm all out here by myself today, so that's super cool. Well, in fact, they do that. So we have a 1 to 6 Vortex Venom on here. Nothing. It was on sale, literally. I thought it'd be a good fit for this. Palmetto State Upper 300. We have the PWS BDS 765 suppressor on. It is secured. As I showed you before, we're using the stealth subsonic ammo. I think I have it all set in. We're going to shoot for the head there. Let me get my, who would say, all my zoomies in. It is just 6 power. This scope does have a lit reticle, which is kind of cool for low light. And honestly, yeah. All right, so we're gonna go hot. We are undercover with reflectors coming back at us for safety, so it's gonna sound a bit louder on microphone, and we can talk about that later. But this dot in this, it is second focal plane, so it is what it is. But I'm gonna hold that dot in the middle there. It's covering up most of that bullseye. Oh, whoops. Okay. Might have to put one in the chamber. Oh, there we go. Hey, you know what? Alright, no cuts there. Stupid is it, stupid does. Alright, let's get back on it here. Alright, same target. Alright, well, we got 3 shots, guns clear, mag out, actions open. Let's see how we did. Well, I can't really tell. From here. Well, let me go take a look. I'll take a picture and through movie magic, I'll add it. Okay, that answered some questions. So, if y'all look down there by the 7, that is a nice tight group, actually. Yeah, I know you can't see it all. I took a picture, insert here. Chad, don't forget to insert here. Took with my other camera. And that's fine. I'm not gonna mess with it. shot a nice group. It's cool. That's quite low. That's the difference between 85, 7-ish yards and 100. So we know these bullets, which we're never going to use for hunting or defense or anything else, are, they're just, like I said, relatively inexpensive. And we're just using them to mess around and try this can, which is a bit loud under this cover. Yeah, so we're just gonna Kentucky holdover and try that silhouette again. Just kind of using the holdover provided on the Vortex, just to see if we can kind of sorta. I think I know where to hold. Yeah, I got a really good idea. Just to play, and then that'll probably be the end of it for today. Because 300 blackout's fun. It ain't no blinking room. Just saying. All right, we are live. We are hot. Safety off. You know what? Probably should charge it. Switching back and forth. Never a good idea. Just saying. Alright, we're clear. Tag out. Bolt down. Safety on. We're cool. Well, it looks better from here. Hang tight. We'll walk down there. Well, I think that's the extent of my fun for today. Got a meeting coming up in a few minutes. Finish my lunch. But got my exercise, my steps in. Yay. Super cool. Had to take a few phone calls. That's alright. I mean, shit. But yeah, I'm fairly impressed. It's shorter ranges, yeah. I played with a little bit of supersonic out of it. Yeah, pretty cool. It's nothing. Wow, that sounds horrible. Let me try this. Oh, that's so much better. Look at my. No, we're not going to call me handsome. Maybe handy. Take one if you got one. Anywho, so. Yeah, it's an interesting round. I've avoided it for a long time. I avoided ARs for a long time, but yeah. Might be something to it. You never know. Hold tight. Yeah. Little holdover, little Kentucky windage. There's one, dos. Old guy, bad eyes, using a blanket for rest, whatever. I can come up with excuses. You need some more? Yeah, let me know. I got plenty of them. So, yeah, no, it's fun to play with. I like the can. If you guys go back and look, I tried it on a 6.5 Creedmoor, buddy of mine's. It's a Mesa. Don't like Creedmoor. Don't like Christensen. But it is what it is. And that gun's good for him. Round works great. Whatever. You know, I'm not a... Whatever. It's cool. It's fun to shoot. I don't care what you shoot. Just shoot. Fuck it. Whatever. Some of my videos I've done, you know, it's like, I didn't mean to shit on the SR-45. I have one. It's given to me. The video wasn't meant to shit on the SR-45. It was just, this is a goofy gun. There were some interesting things done. Blah, blah, blah. I have a Sky 9mm. Fucking things never let me down. Lord knows I've tried. Still have it. I'm not going to get rid of it. It's never done anything wrong. Yeah, so I have some goofy shit. I like Marlin 22s. I have like 2 Model 60s and a 72, and then I specifically, and luckily a buddy of mine helped me, found a 22 mag in bolt action to match the rest of the guns. So, yeah, I like goofy shit. You don't have to spend a ton of money to enjoy shooting and be active and enjoy the sport, I guess is what I'm saying. So, you know, the biggest thing is being safe. And most people that are already active and in the sport are happy to see you here. As long as you're not restarted and, you know, play by the rules. So I'm going to pick up my brass as my club would like me to. Now I don't reload, so I'll probably put it over there on the bench for somebody to pick up that does. My dad does, but not this stuff. Maybe I will later. I don't know. Whatever. But, yeah. No, it's fun. If you guys want to see something else, goofy, whatnot, I still got some tannerite. That we have to do at my house. Can't do that over here. I think. No, probably can't do that over here. And I still got other guns to shoot. I just haven't been very active in this as of late. I'm gonna have more time to do it though. And I've got new equipment and yada yada and this and that. So no, thanks you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. As always, you know, YouTube, they like, don't like, that's fine. My backup is always over on Rumble, you know, C-Teft. You can find me. It's not that hard. I can't put a link on YouTube because that's a problem. But the only video that I've ever done that got ixnayed by YouTube was the most popular one ever. Maybe that says something. Is still up on Rumble and doing well. So, yeah. And it was just, well, I can't really say here, right? So you might want to go check that out. But it was dealing with something like a clock, putting in a replacement aftermarket clock piece, maybe like a second hand that worked better than the second hand it head. I don't know, but you can't modify clocks on YouTube. So anyways, all right, have fun, be safe, see you.